Hello student, welcome to online tutorial session. Today we will learn about the history of development of computers. Okay, so you know the word computing, which is mainly involves the counting part. Okay, so the Stone Age people used the pebbles or made scratches marks on the cave walls to count the number of cattle they had. So whenever newborn was there, they have added another pebbles. When someone died, they remove one pebble. So in this way, they are actually using the technique for accounting. But uh, after that, Abacus, probably the oldest counting machine, was developed around 3300 to 500 BC. Okay, so it is invented by the Chinese. Okay, and it consists of a wooden frame with rods and columns of beads on them for counting. A crossbar usually separates two beads into two sections. By moving the beads, one can make addition and subtraction. Okay, so it still is used in China and Japan. Not only in China and Japan, in India also they are using. From the word abacus, the abacus, the word abacus is coming. So next, after that, this is only the abacus is only capable of doing the addition and subtraction, but the first device to help in multiplication and division was developed by John Napier. In earlier 17th century, Napier designed a system of ivory rods. One each rod, several numbers were etched based on the table of logarithm. The rods are better known as Napier's bones. To multiply two numbers, one has to simply add two given numbers and get the result using the principles of logarithm. Okay, so next comes the Pascal adding machine, or it is popularly known as the Pascaline. It is developed in 1642 by the French mathematician and philosopher Blaise Pascal. Okay, so it is a mechanical calculator made of gears and wheels and could do addition subtraction in base of 10. Okay, so this is the first calculator that could automatically do calculation once the numbers were fed to it. Okay, and later on 1694 the French mathematician Leibniz designed an improved mechanical calculator by studying Pascaline original notes and drawing. The machine could do the multiplication and the division as well along with the subtraction and addition. Next comes the Babbage machine. Okay, the Charles Babbage, a professor in Cambridge University, is regarded as the father of modern computer. Okay, in 1882 he developed an engine, that is a difference engine, that was used to produce the astronomical tables for an observatory in Albany, New York. Okay, so these machines are mainly calculates the polynomials. Okay, later in 1842 he come up with an idea of analytical engine, which has become his lifetime project. This machine was designed so that user could feed in a sequence of instructions and the data on which it works. So machine could then store and execute the sequence of instructions. The hardware technology required to build it were much more ahead in his times, and the final machine could not be constructed successfully. But his design features certain modern concepts like storage capacity, a typewriter for an input device, punch card for storing programs, and a mill that could do additions in ones. So the basic concept developed by Babbage are the basic for the digital computers even today. So that's why he is known as the father of computer. Okay, so as the storage program concept has come in, so French waver named Joseph Jacquard invented a system of punch card in early 1880s to create a complex design automatically on woven cloth. The punch card controlled the movement of the thread in the Jacquard's loom by the presence of absence of the hole in the card. So those develop effective means of communication with the machines. Okay, so a mathematician, Hermann Hellerith, was actually make a tabulating machine based on the principle of the punch card, and his machine could automatically read the census data punch card on the card. Using Hellerith machine, 1890 USA census took only 3 years to complete. His tabulating machine company was a predecessor to the Internal Business Mechanics Corporation, that is IBM. Now, we have talked about the generations of computers. Okay, so the earlier form of computer built towards an end of 19th, like Howard Mark I, operated use of a relay and was an electromechanical device. Later, for the electronic computers, depend of kind of a electronic switch device is used to store numbers. The development of the commercially available computer can be divided into categories or generations. Okay, so depending upon the relative size of the different component or the technology that has been used over here, so we can classify our generation in 5 ways. First generation computers, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and fifth generations. Okay, so in case of first generation, the time period is starting from 1942 to 1955. And the technology that has been used over here, that is a vacuum tube. Okay, so Lee D. Foster first actually American physicist used this vacuum tube. So what are the characteristics of that? It is a very large in size. Example is ENAC. Okay, and power consumption is what very high. Okay, and it computers as the power consumption is very high, it generates much more heat. These computers had slow processing speed, were programmed in machine language. Okay, ENAC, that is electronic numerical integrator computer, and UNIVAC one, that is universal automatic computers, are actually designed for a commercially. These are the example of the first generation computer. Now the second generation of computer, here actually transistors are used. It is invented by William Shockley and his team in the Bell's laboratory. Okay, so it is actually compared to first generation, it is smaller, cheaper and faster and more reliable and energy efficient too. So the magnetic core based memories are used instead of vacuum tube, and these computers are actually right now commercially available for the business and the scientists. Okay, so here machine is independent of high level programming language. Photon, COBOL also used over here, and floating point operation is also is doing on, and the processing speed is much more faster. It is in terms of order of the microseconds. So IBM 1401, IBM 620 are the example of the second generation computer. Now the third generations of computer, that is integrated circuits. It is also developed by the Jack Kibley of the Texas Instrument in 1959. Okay, instead of using a transistor to build computer, I see here the combine several electronic components into small wafer of silicon, only the several millimeters of thick. So this technology gives the computer a smaller, cheaper, faster, more reliable, energy efficient than the predecessor one. Semiconductor memories are used instead of ferrite core memories. Okay, the use of operating system is allowed in the machine. The processing speed now in the order of nanoseconds. Okay, mass production as depending upon the low cost is generated over here. So IBM System 360 series, UNIVAC 1108, Honeywell 2000 series are example of the third generation of computer. Now coming to the fourth generations of computer, here actually the microprocessor technology used in the computer made of them a small less size and the fastest in performance, that is with the help of VLSI and ULSI technology. So VLSI stands for very large scale integrations. It is consists of 1 lakh component per chip. Okay, and that is another one, ULSI, that is ultra large scale integration. It is contain more than 1 million of component on a single chip. Okay, so this technology has been used over where these mini computers were programmable and came up with a complete user friendly software packages. The smaller computer become more powerful, they could be linked together to form a network. Okay, so examples are the Pentium, Core i7, then most microprocessor 8085 are the example of this one. Now the fifth generation of computer, that is in from 1985 to the present days. So these computers are based on the concept of parallel processing and neural networking. Okay, there is a prologue is used, that is programming and logic language for programming, and the computer to processes the artificial intelligence to make the decision, and is capable of being knowledge information processing system, that is very commonly known as KIPS. I hope generations of computer and history of previous computer is pretty clear to you. Thank you, student, and I'm being a lecturer over here.